from CNN. Ladies and gentlemen, I have good news. If you are concerned about Trump's agenda getting through, if you are worried that Democrats will obstruct him, fear not. For the Republicans, 9 of them have joined with Democrats to make sure Trump never wins because they believe that they deserve special DEI privileges. That's right. 9 Republicans teamed up with Democrats so that new mothers in Congress will be allowed to work remotely and vote outside of Congress, which is unconstitutional, I believe is despicable. And it is the epitome of DEI. They are quite literally saying, instead of just resigning from Congress to take care of your family, their voices are a requirement, the diversity in Congress. And because of their different lived experiences as women, they require special rules that only apply to them. Speaker Johnson suffers defeat as GOP rebels tank effort to block remote voting for new parents. Johnson's pissed. He's saying instead of Congress trying to combat these judges and help Trump's agenda, they are now jammed up because Rep. Anna Paulina Luna believes because she had a child, she should get special privileges in Congress. I'm extremely offended by this. I believe that if you want to be in Congress, either don't have kids for 2 years, and if you want to have kids, simply resign. But here we are now, jammed up, not working on getting through Trump's agenda after Republicans just lost the Supreme Court, Wisconsin. And there's a very real fear that the slim majority will be lost in 2027. This is what we get because 9 GOP decided they wanted to be Democrat Marxists.
People, it's a privilege to be able to work in Congress. Therefore, you should be there to fully do all of the parts of your job, and that includes voting in person. While some people can argue, oh, it's a person with a newborn, they just had a new family, let them be with their family, let them take maternity and paternity. They also included paternity, by the way, leave in this as well. But let them take maternity leave, let them be with their child. No. The real issue here is that this also opens the door to have other people vote by proxy for whatever other reason. This is also so unnecessarily divisive at a time where Speaker Johnson only has something like, a 2-seat majority right now, even with the 2 elections that just happened in Florida. Unnecessarily divisive. Trump's trying to pass his agenda, but now we're stuck going over stuff like this. The Democrats are taking advantage of Rep. Paulina Luna because I believe in the last Congress, she had a child, and it was annoying for her to bring her child and come vote, and she wanted to have the privilege of and the opportunity to vote by proxy. But between these 9 Republicans and Massey last time voting against the CR, I don't understand why these Republicans cannot get on the same page to pass the Trump agenda. Please, guys.
Well, Massey's a different story. But when it comes to stuff like this, lining up with the Democrats to be like, oh, we need this specific, these carve-outs for us because we have children. If you're going to become a public servant, you have to plan. You should expect to plan your life around that public service, whether it be Anna Paulina Luna having a baby, or another congresswoman having a baby, or when Pete Buttigieg became the Secretary of Transportation, and he decided to take a couple months off because he went out and he bought a baby, right? Like, you can, especially Buttigieg, like he could plan that far better than
and neither parent actually had the baby.
Yeah, exactly. Like women, maybe they'll accidentally get pregnant or whatever. At least there's an excuse. Oh, well, we weren't planning it, but whatever. You should be responsible enough to be like, all right, I'm taking this time in my life to be a public servant, so I'm going to make sure that I don't get pregnant, that I don't have small children. It shouldn't be a big ask.
Or you let your constituents down and you don't show up for the vote, and they'll remember that when they vote again.
No, sorry. Resign.
Or resign. If it was military command, which I kind of see Congress, I know they're civilians, but they're guiding the military economic force of the world. They should treat it like frontline military operations. They should be there like clockwork. Every day they are needed on the duty, they should be on duty. And maybe they could have a proxy come in and vote for them.
No.
Like designate my assistant will be there on this day to vote for me in person. It's way better than doing it remote because you can.
I wonder what the real story here is because Representative Anna Paulina Luna usually hates the Democrats. I think former Freedom Caucus goer. So I think there might be something else here. Or I think it's just interesting how Democrats are able to kind of pull on the heartstrings of some of these Republicans on issues that they have affinity with them on.
Well, Democrats ubiquitously vote as a bloc. And Republicans always seem like they can't ever do that. And I don't know all the details. I don't know the backstory. There might be something or might not. I don't really care that much about this issue, but it's like, why are we hearing about this and not the SAVE Act, not about Darrell Issa's bill to try and get rid of judicial overreach? I can tell you that voters, 65% of them love the idea of deporting violent gangbangers. They want this judge impeached by a 2-to-1 margin. And I'm not getting the feeling from Congress that it's DEFCON 1 down there. So it's like, if Republicans understand how existential this election was and the very beautiful gift that Donald Trump has given them, which is a platform more popular than Republicans have ever been, if they can't get behind this and break a little sweat, like, that's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah,
Indeed.
It should be an easy decision.
Well, Democrats are communists, and they're, I mean that in the sense of, well, they're a cult. They abide by what the group tells them to abide by. Republicans do not. And so you end up with Democrats winning because all it takes is a couple of Republicans to pull stupid garbage stunts like this. And I'm going to say it again. The Republicans are supposed to be the party of family, recognizing the differences between men and women. And here we are now with 9 Republicans being like, nah, women should get special rules. This is what happens to this country. Every single time it comes down to the question of duty and responsibility, this country shifts towards giving privileges to special classes instead of equality. Yeah. And this is what they're asking for right now. The Democrats and the GOP are trying to get special privileges based on class, based on a class of identifiable persons. That's illegal. You should not be able to say, because you're a woman, you get to vote remote or by proxy. I'm offended by this.
Yeah, it's dumb.
This is maybe even a tangent, but like, it used to be, I've brought this up before the show, the founding fathers, the first people that served in Congress, were all men. If there was kids being born, they were at home with the mom. Then at some point, women came in, and you have to accommodate for they might have a baby. How are they gonna lead the military if they're the baby? They have the baby on their arm. And obviously Congress isn't directly leading the military. They're just funding it and deciding how it gets funded. And they're supposedly the ones that authorize war or not. It's very important that they're there and available for duty. So,
I mean, especially considering how infrequently they actually have to be there. What were you saying? There was 10 legislative days in
10 legislative days in April. We just lost 3 of them because I don't know why, but they kicked the next vote into next week. And I'll tell you, again, I just don't know why it came up, because my understanding is that almost every vote, they know what day it's going to be. They can plan around it. So
hire a babysitter.
Yeah, exactly.
Get a place in D.C.
They all have places in D.C. usually.
Yeah, they just got to run a tighter ship.
It's because Congress is a bunch of lazy pieces of garbage. They are lazy people who don't want to do their jobs. The real job of a member of Congress is to fundraise. They get on the phone all day and they say, give me money, give me money, give me money. And then they never actually do their jobs. The only thing they do outside of give me money is they go into they go on the floor. They stand at their podium and say, rabble, 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 rabble. Can you give me the clip so I can post it on social media so I can make money? That's Congress. Mm-hmm. None of them do their jobs. There's like 5. I get 10 maybe.
Yeah, I can see the value of agility of government. Like they were doing military strike on Signal. It's easier than, hey, let's all report to the defense. Let's all go to the Pentagon at 4 p.m. so we can sit down, talk about something for 8 minutes, and then get up and leave. And then we'll have our battle plans in order. They just do it on Signal. They can do it instant, so much quicker. Great for military because you're remote. So there's a value to quickly being able to get a vote out. It just, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a secure tactic, but I'm open to, the evolution of governance. It doesn't have to always be in person in the same building. It doesn't. Maybe if it's life and death and you have to do things quickly, maybe you have to go remote.
I like the idea of the representatives having to be there to cast the vote. And I think that they should be there to cast the vote. Like, I don't think that they should be allowed to remote vote. I don't think they should be allowed to have someone else vote for them. You have your job, just like Tim said, the vast majority of their job is fundraising. Go to D.C. when there are votes because they're scheduled. You know when they are. You can make arrangements. Go to D.C. when when you're supposed to be there to vote. That's the whole point of your job is you're supposed to be able to vote on bills. Make sure that you're there. That's not too much of an ask.
If this bill only going to be 3 of them this year.
Yeah, right.
Maybe we should just look. We've got Congress that won't do their jobs. We have judges that are acting like they have more power than the president. I think it's simple. We just simply abolish The Article 2 and 3 of the Constitution.
The United States as an organization.
Or actually, I think Articles 1 and 3, right?
You know, and it's a funny thing to hear somebody say in jest, but I bet there's people thinking that. There are people that are so frustrated, they're like...
Sorry, it's Articles 1 and 3. Silly me.
Of course, that's why it makes more sense.
Well, Article 1 is Congress. Article 3 is the judiciary.
Judiciary. Yep, just gone. All powers vested in one man,
The president.
and his family and his kids.
You know, it used to be like that. A government would have
It's called the monarchy.
Their rules. It would get to a point where people couldn't take it anymore, and they just shred the whole thing and start a new one.
Usually,
You've got
they
the
would end
system
up,
where
they
you
would
can
end up hanging the king too.
Yeah, we've got a system where you can revolutionize the governance within the governance itself. You don't have to like tear it down to rebuild. Ideally, you know, you can break pieces and parts off with amendments and revocation of acts and things like that. So that's the
You guys talked
boring.
about this a lot, monarchy.
No, we're joking.
Yeah.
But we've got a rogue we've got a dysfunctional Congress and a rogue judiciary.
Yeah.
So let's just zoom out. According to Democrats, the executive branch has gone rogue. According to literally everyone, Congress is dysfunctional and doesn't work. And
Except
according to
their
the right, the judiciary, no, just the one person. And then according to the right, the judiciary is whacked out of its mind.
Yeah, I'll add
well,
one
actually,
more.
the Democrats agree with the Supreme Court being whacked out of its mind.
I'll add one more. We have 2 million unelected people that think they control the government, and they're just leeching off of our economy and everybody else. And they're
Who are those people?
the fifth column, the deep state,
Yeah.
the bureaucracy. That's really the problem. And so, listen, my politics are, I'm a pollster. I believe in public opinion. I think democracy makes sense for that. But there's aspects of this that doesn't work, and it needs to change. And I think society will correct the change. It's just a question of how. And so what I've been following is signs of potentially, I'm a believer of the fourth turning idea of how this is developing. And history tells us...
War, you say?
Yeah, we pulled on it a lot. I'm worried about it.
Really?
Yeah, we've pulled on Civil War. But I think one of the big signs I think that we're in this is the complete flip of 18 to 39-year-olds who went from like 30 to 40 points Harris just, a decade ago, or Hillary Clinton, to now Donald Trump actually had a 60% favorability rating with 18 to 39-year-olds like a month ago. Like they are now the highest approving people of Trump, and they're also the most likely to say that the country's in the right direction. So the problem is fourth turning, right after a crisis, you have a very high need for order and a high supply and demand of order because you just fixed a major problem like World War II. Over time, because things are good, it's a golden age, the demand for order decreases, but you still have order.
Yeah.
Then it all comes falling apart. And so what we have now is maximum demand for order and zero supply.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.